Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cottonwood Cross Country Adventure, Episode 3. My name is Andrew and I'll be your host. When my life circumstances suddenly changed, I decided to go on a road trip for 12 days to center myself, gather inspiration, and build out the vision for what would one day become Cottonwood Loungewear. For more information about Cottonwood Loungewear and why I'm taking this trip, check out Episode 1 in the description below. But for now, let's get started. This is the Cottonwood Cross Country Adventure. Make sure to follow Cottonwood to see all the stops on this journey, which I'll also link in the comments below. Which I'll also link in the description below. After a long and cold night in Moab, I actually slept pretty well. But I certainly didn't wait around to try to cook some frozen eggs. Alright, all packed up, ready to go. Sun's just coming up. I can feel its warmth. Just see how beautiful it is out here. Next stop, Grand Canyon. Let's see if we can call a hotel on the way. I hit the road again and saw some beautiful sights along the way to the Grand Canyon. So I'm kind of thinking that I might just head straight to Phoenix today instead of going to the Grand Canyon. Because I've seen lots of red rocks and canyons and things like that, and it's all very, very beautiful. But I've kind of seen it now as far as this trip goes. And if it's all covered in snow and it's even colder there than it is here, I don't know if it's worth a whole nother day just to see more canyons and things like that. It's about 7 hours and 30 minutes to Phoenix from where I am right now in Moab. So I'm gonna keep driving and think about it, but I think we may end up just going to Phoenix tonight. I know how sexy I look, but I haven't found a place to pull over and put my contacts in. So I thought about it for a little bit, and I think I'm actually going to go to Flagstaff, Arizona instead. I won't be going all the way to Phoenix. I don't think I want to drive that far today. I want some time to just chill at a hotel or something when I get there. I went over this mountain range, or I guess some hills a couple minutes ago, and it was really making me think about how truly terrible I am with directions. So earlier when I was talking about potentially diverting to Flagstaff instead of the Grand Canyon, I was thinking about that the whole time while I was driving the wrong direction. And I had thought about that for quite some time. So we wasted a lot of time this morning. Alright, we are in Tuba City, which is about an hour and 18 minutes away from Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna pop in here and get something to eat, and then I'm gonna give some hotels a call and see if anybody has any availability for tonight. So far, the drive has been relatively flat, really pretty, a lot of really interesting rock formations. I was able to get a couple good pictures of things, but it was obviously really difficult to do while I was driving. After getting back on the road, I noticed that there were a ton of places along the side of the highway where people had clearly been pulling off the highway and just started driving into the desert. There were trail tracks from vehicles, ATVs, things like that, and I kept passing them over and over again, and each time I passed one I was like, oh, like, I should stop and like do it and see what's out there. Obviously, people have been doing it. That being said, there were tons of vehicle tracks and no fences or signs, so I decided to pull off the road into the desert. I made my way up a cliffside where the land slowly flattened and then dropped off to reveal a huge 360-degree view. This is the first point in the trip where I feel totally disconnected, totally transported away from my old reality. I'm completely alone in the middle of nowhere. As I'm feeling the depth of my situation and how meaningful this trip will be for me, a small white dog suddenly appeared from the cliffside.
What you doing, puppy? Here, pup.
I'm not going to be able to eat my sandwich because it kind of froze last night, but I'm going to give it to this really sweet dog that just found me in the middle of nowhere here.
Good boy.
Now, let me be clear. If I was able to catch this dog, he would absolutely be going home with me. There's nothing around here for miles, but unfortunately this dog had no intention of letting me get anywhere near him. I thought about calling like an animal help number, but I noticed earlier in town there were a lot of signs saying to not feed the local dog wildlife, so I think dogs are kind of a problem in those areas. So I didn't really have a lot of confidence that anybody was going to respond, and by the time they do, I mean, the dog is going to be gone. And it was clear to me that this was not this dog's first time meeting a vehicle that came up to this cliffside. I think the dog probably lives around there, and when it hears a car come to explore this cliffside, it knows that it can get food. And it certainly got food from me.
Bye, puppy. I hope you find some food. Yeah.
Fully inspired and frustratingly dogless, I headed back to the highway. So I just stopped at this roadside kind of merchant stand on the side of the highway here on my way to Flagstaff. Pulled in and there was maybe 4 or 5 booths across. In each one of them there was someone selling, peddling their wares. Each of the booths had interesting things like earrings and Christmas ornaments and vases and jewelry and dream catchers, things like that. And I ended up buying one from each vendor. I had to. And they ended up taking me for all the cash that I had left, including a credit card payment. But it was worth it because it was worth supporting those local vendors. And each of them told me stories about each of the items that I purchased and the materials used in them that each have a purpose and a story and a special power or ability. And whether those things are true or not is up to each person's, interpretation of that. But I don't really care if it's true or not. I think the specialness of having purchased it on this trip and what it's going to mean to me moving forward is valuable. All right, so we have made it to the Aspen Hotel here in Flagstaff, Arizona. Pretty exhausted, so I'm going to go inside and check in here in a second. All right, I am all checked into the Aspen Hotel here in Flagstaff. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that my room is right next to the Verde Executive Suite. So we're going to be living pretty large tonight. At this point, I am beyond exhausted and just ready to take a shower in a real bathroom. I pushed myself to take some now useless B-roll of my broken door lock and my non-functioning telephone, but I ultimately broke down and decided to live large by visiting this completely empty nightclub, which gets busy around 9 p.m. according to the employees. The next morning, it had snowed several inches overnight, and I was completely finished with it, so I actually didn't take any video of me waking up in Flagstaff, but in due time, I pulled into Phoenix around 11 a.m. All right, we are fully in Phoenix, where the sun is shining down and it's about 60 degrees. I'm here at the Phoenix Art Museum, about to walk inside, and having a great time so far. I walked around a bit and looked at some neat little dioramas. And then I found it. You guys, I have found what I'm looking for. The pinnacle of the entire trip. The pièce de résistance. The road to Hana, if you will. It's the East Asian rose. Completely windswept. Alright, so that was alright. We were there for like maybe 30 minutes or so, but now it is officially warm enough here to take the top off the Jeep, which feels so good. Now I'm gonna go meet up with a friend at a bar called the Churchill. It's not actually a bar. The Churchill is like a little group of small businesses that all come together in this really neat little covered space. I'll try to find some pictures here to show you guys. So cute. Later, we ended up at a place called the Pemberton, which is also a little group of restaurants and curated places all together in downtown Phoenix. It was wild to me that it's a Friday night and there wasn't that many people here. I know that Scottsdale is really more of like the happening place on the nights and weekends, but this area was really cool and I was surprised that it didn't have lines or anything. Maybe it gets a little busier at night, I don't know. Now, I had originally planned on camping at McDowell Mountain Regional Park. And on the map, when I was researching this trip, it looked like it was about 15 minutes away from where I currently am. But that is not the case. It is about 60 minutes away from where I currently am. And given that it's about 7 to 8 o'clock at night, I'm really not in the mood to drive all the way out there just to unpack all of my stuff, to set up a bed, just to wake up and pack it all back up again and get back on the road. So I once again decided to get a hotel. I thought my unscheduled turns had finished for the evening, but that was not the case. Next time on the Cottonwood Cross Country Adventure. I am seeing Las Vegas hotels on the Strip. Here's to a night of luck and adventure. Cheers. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to make sure that you don't miss an episode, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.